Alright, I'm back. Magical Jungle, current Amazon item. This picture is either going to make or break. I don't care what's on the back of this page, so if I mess it up, I may just cut it out of the book. I don't care for skulls. That's me personally. So I'm going to go over with you on the plan for this, and we'll see if it works. Like I said, if not, I'm showing you how not to do it, and I will probably post it anyway. I have this pen. It's actually a Pitt Artist Pen by Faber-Castell. It doesn't have a ball in it. It does prime. I have gone all over this, like, I don't know how many times, a bunch, and it still hasn't covered it. But now it's kind of rough. So what I'm going to do is take a very light grit sandpaper and just, can you hear it? I'm just lightly going over it. Like I said, this is either going to make it or break it. Don't know. Just unsure. Then I'm going to take tissue paper, because tissue still has a little bit of roughness to it too. And I'm going to go over it again. You can even just use brown, brown paper bag. Okay. Not much left. Good. Earlier when I tried this, it left a lot of white on my hand from where it had sanded. Now, what I've done is I took a piece of, remember that old onion skin that you could see through? Well, I had some. That's how many old supplies I have. But anything, tissue paper, whatever, I copied the area around the skull. Okay, just that. I just made an outline in pink. Then I moved this, came down here, and in blue, traced that flower, turned it around, traced it again, did these leaves, and I thought, you know what? I think that will just about cover this. And then I also flipped it this way and did those two little leaves. And then you can hold it up to the window and trace through it if you need to. But I can see through it. I can see where it's at. And I know that that is going to cover right where that little spider is. I could have left the little spider. He didn't bother me as much as the skull. But I'm going to line this back up. Now, before I can get this actually on here, I'm going to come in and I'm going to color the back of this with black. I know that sounds weird. Let's go through the steps on this, because this is how to transfer a pattern into your book, whether it's a pattern you've made yourself or whatever. So first of all, I know I have got to trace this little bit of leaf. So I'm going to come in here and just trace around that. Because when I color on the back of this with black, I will no longer be able to see that. Okay, now the reason I'm coloring black on the back of this is that's going to be my carbon. Does that make sense? So I'm actually going to use, I think I'm actually going to use a pencil. I thought about chalk, but then it's going to smear and make a mess. So what I'm going to do is I can see through where my design is. And I'm just going over it. Laying this pencil down on its side, just getting the carbon onto the paper. This is instead of using tracing paper and carbon and all that stuff, because a lot of those papers, when you use them, those tracing papers, whether they're wax or free or not, will determine if it's going to smear on your page. Now I can hold that up to the light and I can see if I've actually gone over everything that needs to be gone over. Okay? So far, you're with me. Okay. I'm going to bring the book back over. Open it back up to our page with the skull. Now, with a page like this, I will have to color all the background. Okay? Because that's going to be the only way to cover all those little lines in between. So now I'm going to put this down here. I am matching up my pink that I had outlined first. All right, and now I'm going to come in and start tracing this. And I'm going to have to see how hard I've got to push because I don't know right now. But that should match what's on this side. And then I'm putting in just single lines because I can draw that other line by hand that goes beside it. If you cannot, then yes, this is where you would trace over every single line. Before you go very far, I'm going to go ahead and do it just so I don't mess anybody up. Before you go very far, do a few elements, hold your paper down, flip it back and see if it went on. It did go on. It's very messy, but I can see it. Okay, so then we're going to do the whole thing this way. And I am not going to put every line on. I am going to come back and hand draw some of this freehand, just because the more I touch it and have my hand on it, the more I am smearing that carbon that's down there. And this is a pretty basic design once you get a few lines on. Okay, so get on what you have to have, and then if you can freehand the rest of it, it's going to be easier to get rid of the extra black edges later. Okay, so I'm just doing that, and then over here I'm going to get this part, and I'm not going to do all those little lines this time. Just getting the very basic guidelines on. And like I said, when I pull this off, it's going to look worse before it looks better. You've got to really want to do this to do it. Like I said, my main goal here is getting rid of that skull. And there's been other pictures where I have done this and I've gotten rid of, like, I think it's Hannah Carzon's book has some nose rings that I didn't care for, and I've done that in those. Okay, so that's going to be good enough, I think. So now let me pull it away and let's see what we've got. Like I said, I don't know if you can see it or not. I can see that I've got a line coming right through here and around here. So I know that is my center one. And then I know there's another one that goes right inside. And if I don't want to, I don't even have to put all those other lines that are in down there. You know, the ones that are coming up at an angle and stuff. That's just up to whatever you would like to do. But it's just lines coming out. That's all it is. Okay, and if they don't match exactly, then it's kind of like when we use the gelatos. We have to be okay with that. And then here's this one that came around. And see, the pencil is drawing on this, okay? So I'll come back later and go over all of this with ink so that it looks more like this. I've got to clean up where the transfer went over, where that pencil smudge came in. And then I will take to it and see if pencils will really cover this or not. So I guess this is going to be part 1 of trying to cover a background. And then we'll have a part 2 at a later time on, you know, whether it really worked well or not. If you find that you need to put this back on for some reason, to line it up, line up your pink marks again. Do not try to line up that pattern. Line up your pink marks. And then if you wanted to go back in and add something, then that's when you can do it. And see, my pattern here is a different color than my pencil. So that's how I know whether I've been over the top of an area yet or not. So if you're tracing it in red, don't draw it in red. Okay? Use different colors so that you kind of know where you're at in the realm of getting this done. But anyway, like I said, this is going to be a take your time type thing. It is not a fast done all at once. There's many stages to it. Many stages. Because it took hours. Well, probably not hours, but it took a while just to try to cover that white that's the background. Okay, just to get that gone took some time. So know that this is not a done in 5 minutes project. It does take a bit. I'm just putting some of these slanted lines on because those were so bad. I want a little key to go from. And then I'm going to take this to the other room, sit in my chair, put on a movie, and sit and just start doing some drawing in. So, all right. I don't know if that helps anybody. Like I said, I will try to do some coloring on it, and I'll come back and review and let you know how it goes. But at least you can see how to do that. And you can do this on any page. Let's say I wanted to add something to this neighboring page. Let's say I wanted to give this critter 2 more wings, like these. I could draw these, black the back, move it down, trace them on, and put 2 more wings down here that match the 2 up here. Okay? So you can do this technique with anything to add to your backgrounds. All right? Okay, so this one was not nearly as long, but hopefully it's helping a little. Yeah, I don't know that there's anything else to show you on it right now. So, all right, we will do probably something else next time coloring wise, and then we may or may not go back to backgrounds. Depends on what I hear from y'all on what you want to see yet. Fern, yes, dry brushing. I have not forgotten. I just want to make sure I do it good when I do it. So, okay, I appreciate you all stopping by. I hope you're following. Thumbs up, ring the little bell, notifications, whatever. I will talk to you in a few days. Bye.